So, I don't know. So, done some dumb things on vacation. Did some stupid... I bought a timeshare on vacation. Woohoo! Anyone else got one of these little investments? Is that why you're in Corvallis? Yeah, it's a scam, isn't it? It's a scam. The guy next to me thought it was a scam, and he's a Scientologist. So there are 3 big showcase clubs in Los Angeles: the Comedy Store, the Improv, and the Laugh Factory. There are a lot of other clubs around the area, like the Ice House in Pasadena and the Comedy and Magic Club in Hermosa Beach, but I say these 3 main ones are the ones to showcase in because they're right in the middle of Hollywood, where it's easy for agents to pop by and see you. And getting on stage in one of these clubs on the right night and having a great set could really be your ticket to attracting an agent and other cool stuff. Yeah, the Comedy Store is the oldest one, and it really made the careers of a lot of comedians back in the 80s and 90s. It was the place to work. I know one comic who made over $100,000 in 1 year just working at the Comedy Store back then. And that was back again in the 80s, when 100,000 was like 200,000 or 300,000. It was really hopping with comedians like Sam Kinison and Jay Leno, David Letterman, Seinfeld, all those guys. Now, the Comedy Store has several rooms. The Belly Room is a smaller room upstairs, and they let comedians put on their own shows there. I think you rent it. I have gotten invited to work there before. In fact, once I got invited to be on a show, and it was a bringer show, which means you have to bring a couple people in order to get on stage. My parents happened to be visiting at the time, so it worked out perfectly. Yeah, they got to see me on stage at a major club on Sunset Strip. But the room you really want to work at the Comedy Store, at least back then, was the main room, because that's where the agents hang out. Mitzi Shore, who just passed away last year in 2018, was the owner of the Comedy Store, and she would be there once a week to watch new comics and pass them so that they could get regular spots in the main room. Now, by the time I got to LA, it was still a big deal to get a set there, but I don't think it quite made comics like it did back in the 80s and 90s, kind of like all the other clubs. Getting an audition there and being passed by Mitzi so you could work the room was pretty cool. Probably wouldn't make you famous, though. As I've mentioned before, there's a lot of competition for stage times at the clubs in LA, especially at ones like the Comedy Store. And in fact, there was at one time so much competition at the Comedy Store that I heard comics who were already approved to work there didn't like any more new comics getting approved. I'm not talking about the big names like Leno and Seinfeld, but the newer comics who had been approved didn't want new ones getting approved by Mitzi because they didn't want to lose their stage time. So you had to be really careful because I heard some of these comics will pull certain tricks, like they'll distract Mitzi so she misses your set. She was a little older at the time and apparently easily distractible. Well, I managed to get a spot in front of Mitzi, though. I can't remember how I did it, but it was on a night that she was there to watch comics. Perfect. I got on stage and had a rockin' set. Things were just cruising along, going really well, and I looked over halfway through my set, and yep, I saw a comic had started talking to her. He talked to her for my entire set. I still have that picture of him in my head, standing there purposefully distracting her. He was one of the regulars, and it was obvious what he was doing so I wouldn't get seen. And it worked. The rumor was true. When I called later to find out if I'd gotten past, I got the word that she had missed my set. Yeah, I know how she missed my set. I was pretty angry about it and upset because to get a spot was hard enough, and then to have a great show is important, and then to have a comic backstab me was just awful. I never made much more of an effort to get in front of Mitzi on a showcase. I did end up hanging out at that club a lot and doing a few of the other shows in the other rooms, just not the main room. The takeaway tip from this is that sometimes you gotta believe the rumors. If I had paid attention to the rumors, I might have brought some friends or something so they could block comics from blocking Mitzi. But I didn't, and so I didn't get past. That's it for this episode. Thanks for listening. Feel free to check out my website, theworklady.com. This is Jan. Take care and enjoy your journey.